Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 24th of July 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. I am requesting you all the students that you can download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link, and after downloading you can click on this login with Google, and after the login you can click on this crack current affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprised. But the most important thing that we are covering 90 to 95% of that current affairs, which are very important for your exam. And guys, how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily section, you will receive three type of things. One is the detailed current affair. Second is the question and answer format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. In the weekly again you will receive three things. One is the detailed current affair, question and answer format, and the quiz section, which you can attempt on an application on weekly basis. But the most important section here is the monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is the detail, question and answer format, best 100 current affairs, that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and pocket PDF. It means the 2-liners and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair again and again before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are also providing topic wise current affair. We are covering 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam, and if you want to cover just one topic related news just from single PDF, then you can use these type of PDFs according to topics. And guys, if you are a banking student, then we are providing three type of things. One is the detail and question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy, and one is the quiz section, which you can attempt on monthly basis on our application. If you want to cover all the past current affairs just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. And guys, under the special current affair, we are providing budget and economic survey. Detail will be provided, and also we are providing expected question and answer related to budget and economic survey. If you are a state aspirant, it means if you are giving any state exam, then you have to required to cover this state current affair section. Then we are covering every state and union territory. So guys, there is no different subscription. We are providing all these things under one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud, and you have to click on this login with Google. After login, you can click on this crack current affair section, and you can subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. For the beginners, I am recommending that you have to purchase this 2-year current affairs. And guys, remember, we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us on this email ID, or you can call us on this number. So let's begin today's session, that is 24th of July 2021. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. By providing these three things, you are basically motivating us and you are supporting us. You can join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the first question in the most important section. Who won Norman Borlaug National Award 2020? Guys, remember, this award is for 2020 and name of this award is Norman Borlaug. And Norman Borlaug was very famous because he was known as the father of all over world green revolution. All over world green revolution. And Norman Borlaug Award related to agriculture. So guys, remember, it is related to agriculture. This question asked so many times that Norman Borlaug Award associated with which field? So it is agriculture. And for 2020, this award goes to Kajal Chakravarti. So answer of this question is A. And you can see here, Kajal Chakravarti won this Norman Borlaug Award, and also Ministry of Agriculture announced the Indian Council for Agriculture Research Award 2020. But you don't have to remember these awards because there are so many categories, like 16 categories are there for Indian Council and Agriculture rewards. And under these 16 categories, it has 4 institution awards, 4 Krishi Vigyan Kendra Award, 11 farmers, and so on. So you don't have to remember the awards. You have to just remember the Norman Borlaug Award, and it goes to Kajal Chakravarti, who is currently working as the principal scientist under the Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, which is situated in Kochi. So you have to remember this institution name and its place because it can be asked. Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, it is situated in Kochi, Kerala. And guys, this award is given for the excellence in the agriculture research. I already covered this point that Norman Borlaug Award is associated with agriculture field. And guys, total award price is 10 lakh rupees. Examiner will not ask, it is just for your knowledge. One memento will be given, and a certificate of citation is also given, and a research contingency grant. It means the emergency grant will be given as a 30 lakh rupees per year for carrying out challenge research project. It means the winner, if the winner want to do some research, then emergency grant will be provided and it will be the 30 lakh rupees per year. And guys, remember Narendra Singh Tomar ji, who is currently the Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, announced these ICR Awards 2020 under 16 categories during the, you can say, the Foundation Day of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. This is the 93rd Foundation Day of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. So guys, remember these things. These are very, very important. And these options are again very, very important. KK Shelja, the former Health Minister of Kerala, she recently won the Open Society Prize of 2021. Remember, Open Society Prize of 2021, and this award was given by Central European Universities, and it is the highest award of Central European University. And guys, remember, this is for the public health services. Very important because she was the former Health Minister of Kerala. P. Sainath, he recently won the Japan's famous award, which is known as Fukuoka Prize. Fukuoka Grand Prize of 2021. P. Sainath. Shyamala Ganesh, again very important award. Remember, recently won Order of Rising Sun. Order of Rising Sun is one of the highest award by the Japanese government. So remember, it is Shyamala Ganesh. Now we are moving to next question. Who is appointed as the managing director of HCL Technologies? Guys, very important question because we are talking about very important company, that is HCL Technologies. The founder of HCL Technologies, Shiv Nadar, you can see the first option, but now he resigned as a managing director of HCL Technologies. So examiner can ask about the resignation of which person? It is Shiv Nadar, who is the founder of HCL Technologies. But now a new person was appointed as managing director, who was earlier appointed as the CEO, now become the CEO and MD of this company, and name of this person is C. Vijay Kumar. You can see here the picture of C. Vijay Kumar. He was recently appointed as CEO and now he become the managing director of HCL Technologies, and Shiv Nadar steps down as HCL Technologies managing director. So guys, remember this organization is very important. You can see here the Roshni Nadar. He is currently the chairperson of this HCL Technologies. She is the daughter of Shiv Nadar. And guys, remember Sanjeev Sahai, he was recently appointed as chairman of Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. Chairman is Sanjeev Sahai. Now we are moving to next question. Who authored the book Renegades, Born in the United States of America? Why we are covering this question in the most important section? Because the name is very important, that is Renegades, Born in the United States of America, and this book is related to Barack Obama. But it is not only written by Barack Obama, it is written by a very famous songwriter, Bruce Springsteen. So answer of this question is both A and B. D is the answer, guys. You can see here the very good cover page of this book, Renegades, and you can see here the name that is Barack Obama, and this is Bruce Springsteen. You can see both here. And this book contains the conversation between the former president of United States of America, that is Obama, and Springsteen about their origin stories, how they emerged and how the career started, and career defining moments to America's polarized politics. So both basically did some conversation and both wrote this book. And this book includes some photographs, handwritten Springsteen lyrics, and annotated Obama speeches. And guys, you I think all know about the Barack Obama. He was the 44th president of United States of America before the Donald Trump, and he authored different books, like very famous 3 books are there. One is A Promised Land. This question asked so many times. Remember, A Promised Land was written by Barack Obama. The Audacity of Hope. So remember, Audacity of Hope was also written by Obama, and Dreams from My Father. Dreams from My Father. These 3 books were written by Barack Obama, and he also received 2009 Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between the peoples. And the second person here is Bruce Springsteen. He is an American singer, songwriter, and the musician. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from the Barack Obama in 2016 when Barack Obama was the President of United States of America. So remember the name here, Renegades, Born in United States of America. It is written by Barack Obama and Bruce Springsteen. So we covered all the important points about this book. Now we are moving to next section. It is a very important question section, guys. You have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. By providing these 3 things, you are motivating us, and please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. Which country recently ratified or passed the framework agreement for the International Solar Alliance? So the most important organization here is the International Solar Alliance, which was started in 2015 by Indian government with the help of the France government. And recently, one country passed the resolution related to the framework agreement of the International Solar Alliance, and it is Sweden, guys. Remember, Sweden. So Sweden ratified the framework agreement for the International Solar Alliance. And guys, all you know that International Solar Alliance is a global initiative by India. Its main aim to provide solar energy and sustainable solution to enhance energy security and tackle the challenges faced due to climate change. And Sweden will promote its renewable energy technologies among the International Solar Alliance member countries. And Sweden set a very good target, that very ambitious target of achieving 100% renewable electricity capacity by the year of 2040. So they will basically achieve this target by the year of 2040, and very good target that 100% electricity of the Sweden country will come from the renewable energy. This is very ambitious target. And Sweden joining comes out of 4 months after the virtual meeting between the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Sweden Prime Minister, where they discussed enhancing cooperation in the technology and innovation. That's why Sweden now ratified the framework of the International Solar Alliance to install maximum to maximum capacity of the renewable energy, especially the solar. And guys, remember about Sweden here, very important country. Prime Minister is Stefan Löfven. We recently covered this question, Stefan Löfven. This is the Prime Minister. And capital is Stockholm. I think all the students know this, and currency is krona. Again, very important. And guys, remember about International Solar Alliance. International Solar Alliance was established in 2015 by India and the France. And guys, remember it was formed due to the Paris Agreement of 2015, or you can say United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties, which is known as COP21. And headquarters is in Gurugram. This is again very important. Gurugram, Gurgaon, Haryana. And who was appointed as the Director General of International Solar Alliance? It was Ajay Mathur. This question is again very important. He was also appointed recently. Moving to next question. Which organization and the International Paralympic Committee signed a memorandum of understanding for the promotion of diversity and equity in the health and sports? So guys, again we are talking about one organization, and second organization is International Paralympic Committee. It is to you can say promote the Paralympics, and you can also remember the name of the organization because it is related to health. So that's why answer of this question is World Health Organization. So D is the answer. You can see here International Paralympic Committee and World Health Organization signed MOU for the promotion of diversity and the equity. And you can see here World Health Organization and International Paralympic Committee will partner to increase the global access to quality rehabilitation and assistive technology as a part of universal health coverage. And both signed a memorandum in Tokyo, Japan, because the 2020 Olympics are currently going in the Tokyo, Japan, to cooperate for the promotion of diversity and equity in the health and sports through global initiatives. And they also intend to reduce the existing inequalities to create equal opportunities, especially for the disabled persons, and participation in sports for the persons with the disability, including for para-Olympians and the para-athletes, because the Para-Olympic Games are set to be held from the 24th of August. Normal Olympic Games are currently going on, and the Paralympic Games will be set to held in Tokyo, same place, on 24th of August to 5th of September 2021. So it is just to promote the you can say equal opportunities and to promote the diversity. So this is the main target of both the organization. And guys, remember about World Health Organization. WHO headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, and its head is Dr. Tedros. I think all the students know this. And International Olympic Committee, you have to remember International Paralympic Committee, its headquarters is in Bonn, Germany. Remember this. Now we are moving to the next question. Which bank signed a memorandum of understanding with IIT Guwahati? It means I am talking about which state? I am talking about Assam, for financing startups. It means it is just to increase the startups, or maximum to maximum investment took place in the northeastern states and the Assam. So that's why this is the target, why they signed with the IIT Guwahati. So answer of this question is Indian Bank. So remember, you can see here Indian Bank signs MOU with IIT Guwahati Technological Incubation Center for financing startups under bank loan product, which is known as Ind Springboard. This is the startup fund which was launched by the Indian Bank. You can see here India's bank commitment towards the economic upliftment of the entrepreneurs, especially in the area of Assam. That's why they signed the agreement with the IIT Guwahati and the Northeast India. And guys, remember Indian Bank signed this memorandum of understanding with IIT Guwahati Technological Incubation Center for financing startup under the bank's loan product already, which is going on, known as Ind Springboard. Ind Spring Board. This is the startup fund which was provided by the Indian Bank. It means the fund for the startups will be provided by Indian Bank, but the expertise will be provided by IIT Guwahati for the Northeast India and the Assam area. And guys, you can also remember the 50 crore rupees will be provided by the Indian Bank. And recently Indian Bank also signed an agreement with the IIT Madras. IIT Madras, this is also for the startups, and they will also provide 50 crore rupees for this startup. So it means Indian Bank signed an agreement with the two IITs. One is the IIT Madras, second is IIT Guwahati. IIT Guwahati for the northeastern area, for the Madras for every area. And recent related news, Union Minister of MSMEs, then MSMEs like Nitin Gadkari ji, he was the then Union Minister of MSME, launched Indian Bank first of its kind flagship business mentoring program, which is known as MSME Prerna in Maharashtra. So you guys have to remember the name of the state here, because examiner can ask that MSME Prerna was started in which state. It was started in Maharashtra. It is for the upliftment of the micro, small and medium enterprises. So guys, remember about Indian Bank, it is important, and it was established in 1907, and it is the 7th largest public sector bank of India. Its MD and CEO is Padam Jha Chundru, and the headquarters is in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and tagline is your own bank. Remember this. Moving to next question. Which institute developed first of its kind oxygen rationing device, which is known as MLEX? So you have to just remember the name of this device, which is known as MLEX, and it is a oxygen rationing device, and this device is basically developed by the scientists of the IIT Ropar, which is situated in Punjab, state of Punjab. And guys, you can see here researchers of IIT Ropar have developed MLEX, and it is a first of its kind device that is capable of regulating the flow of medical oxygen from a cylinder during inhalation and exhalation by the patient. So it means it has been developed specifically for the oxygen cylinders, and it is capable of operating on both portable power supply as well as the line supply. It means it is battery operated as well as the line supply operated, and it significantly reduces the oxygen wastage, because we are talking about the rationing of oxygen, so by default it will reduce the oxygen wastage. And during the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, India witnessed an increase in the demand for medical wastage. So devices like these will definitely help in avoiding unwanted wastage. So you have to just remember the name of this device, and it is an oxygen rationing device, and it is prepared or manufactured by IIT Ropar. Moving to next question. Who authored a new book, An Ordinary Life, Portrait of an Indian Generation? I am giving you hint. You have to just remember An Ordinary Life. This is the keyword for you. And hint is, he was the former election commissioner, not chief election commissioner. He was former election commissioner of India. And he was also in the controversy. After that, he resigned as an election commissioner. Now he is working under the Asian Development Bank, and under one of department of Asian Development Bank, he was appointed as the vice president of this department under the Asian Development Bank. And now, so many hints I provided. Answer of this question is Ashok Lavasa, very famous election commissioner of India. And you can see here Ashok Lavasa, An Ordinary Life, Portrait of an Indian Generation. You can see here this book is featuring the experiences of his father generation, and his father name is Uday Singh, and the way of life in India during his generation. It means the generation during his father time, the time period was mentioned under this book, and the name of the father is Uday Singh. The book also features the wisdom of the previous Indian generation, like his father generation, and their way of life. The book explores the morality of honest living and illustrates the possibilities to prosper in the world of aspiration and competition while preserving one ideals. So you can also remember this. And he is currently serving as the vice president. Vice president, I already covered this. Vice president under the one of the Department of Asian Development Bank. He has served as the election commissioner of India from 2018 to 2020. I am again saying that he is not chief election commissioner. He was not chief election commissioner. He was one of the two election commissioners. So he was served as the one of the election commissioner from 2018 to 2020. He also co-authored two books. One is the An Uncivil Servant, and second is Mannat. Both the books are co-authored by Ashok Lavasa. So guys, another three options are there. First we have to clear this. The name here is the Vinod Kapri. He recently wrote a book about the, you can say, the migration of the migrant laborers, especially in the lockdown, and the name of the book is 1232 kilometer. 1232 kilometer, and full name is 1232 kilometer, the long journey home. Next, Amartya Sen, very famous economist and one of the Nobel Prize winner in the economics, and he wrote a book, Home in the World. This book is very important, Home in the World. It can be asked in SBI especially. Ashok Pangaria, the brother of Arvind Pangaria, and you can also remember that he wrote a book, Monk in Merck. Again, very important. Monk in a Merck. Merck stands for Mercedes. Moving to next question. Which company and Bangalore International Airport have signed a 10-year partnership deal to make a smart airport? It means Bangalore International Airport will become smart airport by the efforts of this company. And this is a 10-year agreement, and this company is International Business Machine. So answer of this question is B, International Business Machine. And guys, you can also remember that they will do the different things, like you can say machine learning, artificial intelligence, so that this airport can become the smart airport within 10 years. So IBM and Bangalore International Airport Limited have signed a 10-year partnership deal to make the Bangalore International Airport Limited a smart airport. So they will do different type of things, new type of technology, IT solutions, so that airport can become the smart airport. So you have to just remember the Bangalore International Airport and name of the company is International Business Machine. Nothing else. You can just remember the question as in slide. Now we are moving to the next question. Which organization launched Agri-Tech Challenge 2021 for farmers in Asia and Africa? So there are so many things under this question. Like, one is the keyword here, Agri-Tech Challenge 2021. It is launched by which organization for the farmers of two continents? One is the Asia and Africa. Examiner can ask the name of the continents like Asia and Africa. Total 7 countries are selected under this Asia and Africa. I will tell you. But first of all, let's discuss about the organization, and name of this organization is United Nations Capital Development Fund. United Nations Capital Development Fund under the Center for Financial Health in partnership with so many organizations, like you can see here. Niti Aayog is there, Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, Rabo Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So all these organizations will work towards the Agri-Tech Challenge 2021, which will address the challenges faced by the smallholder farmers in Asia and Africa, especially for the Asia and Africa. It means these type of the startups will solve the problems of the smallholder farmers. So the program invites the application from startups that have the solution to address the challenges identified for the smallholder farmers from the identifier countries. Like, there are 7 countries which were identified. Like in the Asia, they selected 3 countries. One is India, second is Indonesia, and third one is Malaysia. So these 3 countries are selected in Asia, and 4 countries are selected in Africa. One is Kenya, Malawi is there, Uganda is there, and Zambia is there. So you have to just remember the Asian countries: India, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So 20 applicants out of the all over applicants will be selected as the participants of this program. And the identified challenges of smallholder farmers are like low productivity in the agriculture, like access to new technologies and innovation. What kind of the technologies can be used to overcome this low productivity? Climate risk is there, so resilience against climate change and the natural hazards and the risk management will be provided. Inefficient supply chain, reduce wastage, and enhance market and pricing transparency. So all these 3 problems will be addressed by the startups, and 20 startups will be selected. And the participants of the Agri-Tech challenges will get access to the industry and market linkages, investors, mentorship to assist them to expand to the international market of their choice. So this will be the benefit for the startups. So they will be provided some investment, mentorship, and platform, so that they can connect with the international market. So this is the work for the Agri-Tech startups. So guys, remember, so many organizations are involved here, like Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, Bill and Melinda Gates, and the Rabo Foundation is also there. You don't have to remember the organization, you have to just remember United Nations Capital Development Fund. And this organization's headquarters is in New York, same as the headquarters of United Nations. It was established in 1966. So you can just remember this. Moving to next question. Supreme Court quashed provisions of the 97th Amendment. It was happened in 2011, and this was related to what? Again, one of the most important question, because 97th Amendment took place in 2021 and we are in 2021. After 10 years, Supreme Court quashed the provisions of this amendment, and this amendment was related to cooperative societies. So guys, remember, answer of this question is D. And you can see here, Supreme Court questions some provisions of the 97th Amendment dealing with the cooperative societies. And guys, you can see here, Supreme Court struck down the certain parts of the Part 9th B. It is related to basically cooperative societies, and it was added in our constitution by the 97th Amendment of 2011. So some parts under this Part 9th B was deleted now in the Indian constitution. And it deals with the, what is the cooperative societies word? It deals with the incorporation, terms of members of boards, and its office bearers and effective management of the cooperative society. But guys, remember, cooperative society word comes under state list, So according to the Article 368 clause 2, if any matter which is dealing with the center government power as well as the state government power, they have to pass the bill. They have to pass the bill from the center government as well as half of the states. But according to this 97th constitutional amendment, which required the ratification by at least one half of the state legislature, as per the Article 368 of the constitution, it deals with an exclusive state subject. But the state government, the half state governments not passed this bill. So now, because of this reason, it is unconstitutional. That's why Supreme Court struck down the provisions of the Part 9th B, or you can say the cooperative societies. Earlier, when this amendment happened in 2011, Article 19 clause 1 subclause C give protection to the cooperatives and inserted Article 43B and Part 9th B relating to them. You can just remember that Article 19(1)C guarantees freedom to form associations or unions or the cooperative society subject to certain restrictions under the right to freedom. And Article 43B comes under the directive principle of state policy, and it says that the state shall endeavor to promote voluntary promotion, you can say autonomous functioning, democratic control and professional management of the cooperative societies. And they added a new Part 1 is the Part 9th B. So now Part 9th B was not deleted, basically some provisions of the Part 9th B is deleted. So you have to remember this amendment. This is very, very important because it is deleted now. And recently the center government has created a separate Ministry of Cooperation. So this is again related to this, which is also known as the Sahakarita Mantralaya, to provide a separate administrative, legal and the policy framework for strengthening the cooperative movement in the India. And Amit Shah, the Union Minister of Home, Amit Shah, will head of new Ministry of Cooperation, and examiner will ask this question definitely. Now we are moving to the next question. Recently, Sela Tunnel project was in news, and this is situated in which state? Again, very important question. You have to just remember the keyword here, Sela Tunnel project, and this was in Arunachal Pradesh. So guys, remember, answer of this question is A. And you can see here, this is Tawang area, this is Bomdila area, and it will connect this Bomdila to Tawang area. And after the completion of this Sela Tunnel project, it will be the longest bi-lane road tunnel in the world. And you can remember the total length is almost 12 kilometer, exact is 12.04 kilometer, and total cost of this project is 687 crore. And in 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi initiated the Sela Tunnel project in the Arunachal Pradesh. The main keyword here is the Sela Tunnel project. It is in Arunachal Pradesh, and it will connect the Tawang area of Arunachal Pradesh, and it is to provide all weather connectivity to Tawang, Arunachal Pradesh through the Balipada to you can say Chardwar, which is situated in Assam. It is already existing, like Chhattisgarh to Assam road is existed. Now it will be extended from Assam to Tawang area, and it will be through this tunnel, which will be from Bomdila to Tawang. So guys, remember, it is 12.04 kilometer, and the tunnel is being constructed by the BRO, or the Border Roads Organization, under Project Vartak. You have to remember the name of this project, Project Vartak. And after completion of this project, Sela Tunnel will be the longest bi-lane road tunnel in the world at an altitude of above than 13,000 feet. So remember, the altitude is 13,000 feet. And remember about Border Road Organization here, it works under the control of the Ministry of Defense. Headquarters is in New Delhi. Director General is Lieutenant or the Lieutenant General Rajiv Chaudhary. Moving to next question. Bhagirathi Amma, the oldest learner of which state passed away? Again, very important lady, Bhagirathi Amma, and this lady belongs to Kerala. So remember, this lady belonged to Kerala, and you can see here, she was 107 years old, Bhagirathi Amma, who became the Kerala's oldest learner. after clearing the 4th standard equivalency examination at the age of 105 years. This is the motivation, guys. At the age of 105, she cleared the 4th standard exam. So this is, you can say, the learning objective of this lady, and this is for the women empowerment specially, because Bhagirathi Amma was a recipient of the prestigious Nari Shakti Puraskar by the central government for her exceptional contribution towards the women empowerment. And this is the example of women empowerment, that at the age of 105 she cleared this 4th standard examination. And in 2019, she was applauded by the Prime Minister of India, like Narendra Modi, for her achievement of clearing Kerala State Literacy Mission. Kerala State Literacy Mission. So guys, remember these things, because these are not just a question point of view, this is the motivational factor. So remember about Kerala, there are very important national parks like Iravikulam is there, Iravikulam National Park, Silent Valley National Park is there, Anamudi National Park or Anaimudi National Park is there, and one very famous national park is there, Periyar. Periyar is a name of river. So these are 4 very important national parks in Kerala. So now we are moving to the next question. Next is cabinet approvals, and it was passed on the 22nd of July 2021. Let's discuss some. And first is the Integrated Multi-Purpose Infrastructural Development Corporation in Ladakh. So you can just remember, or you can skip this, it is not so much important, because the Union Cabinet has approved the establishment of this first integrated multi-purpose Infrastructure Development Corporation for the Union Territory of Ladakh. It will act as a construction agency for the development of Ladakh infrastructure and ensure employment generation through development works of industry, tourism and transportation. You have to just remember that it will act as a construction agency for the development of Ladakh. Next, production linked incentive scheme for the specialty steel. To increase the production and minimize the imports of value added steel or the specialty steel, the cabinet has approved this PLI scheme for the steel. So you can also skip this. But next is most important, 100% FDI in the public sector refineries. So the cabinet has approved the proposal to allow 100% FDI under the automatic route in oil and gas public sector unit, which has received in principle approval for the strategic disinvestment in this sector. So 100% FDI now allowed for the public sector refineries. Earlier 100% FDI was allowed only in the private sector refineries, and 49% was in the public sector. So now it is 100% in the public sector refineries. So why government did this? Because the union government is set to privatize Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited by selling its entire 52.98%, or you can say almost 53% stake in the company, because Government of India in financial budget of 2021-22 projected 1.75 lakh crore disinvestment. So this is again very important. We can cover this 1.75 lakh crore by the disinvesting under this companies like Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. So government will privatize this. Moving to next question. So all the most important and very important questions are now covered. We are moving to the important question. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And guys, by providing these 3 things, you will motivate us. And please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. Who represented India in G20 Environmental Ministerials meeting? So guys, this is not so much important question, but you have to just remember that we are talking about a new environmental minister. We are not talking about Prakash Javadekar ji, because examiner can confuse from this that who was the head of this meeting from Indian side, and you can confuse in the name of the current environment minister or the former environment minister. So remember, it is Bhupender Yadav. It is Bhupender Yadav who is currently the new environment minister of India, not the Prakash Javadekar ji. So Union Environmental Minister Bhupender Yadav addressed the G20 Environmental Ministerial meeting. What they discussed, G20 Environmental Ministerials meeting approved an important joint committee which is based on the 3 macro areas like biodiversity, efficient use of resources and circular economy, and the sustainable finance. And guys, you can also remember G20 presidentship of 2021 lies with Italy. It means all the meetings related to G20 will happen in Italy. And G7 presidentship lies with the United Kingdom. Remember this, United Nations Climate Change Conference will also happen in United Kingdom. Exact place is Scotland. And you can also remember World Economic Forum. Its membership lies with the Singapore. It means the presidentship, or you can say the meeting will happen in Singapore, not in the Davos, Switzerland. And next, BRICS chairmanship lies with India. BRICS chairmanship lies with India. ASEAN chairmanship lies with Brunei. So you can remember these important facts and the related points. And remember about G20, it was established in 1999 and total member countries are 19 plus 1 is the organization which is European Union. So moving to next question. Again, it is not so much important. Today, passage exercise or the bilateral navy exercise was happened between India and United Kingdom or Royal Navy carrier, and it was happened in the Bay of Bengal. So it is not so much important. You have to remember about just the passage exercise, because passage exercise India conducted with so many countries like Vietnam, United States of America and other countries. So now it was conducted with the United Kingdom, the Royal Navy in Bay of Bengal from 21st of July to 22nd of July 2021. The maritime exercise aimed at sharpening the ability of two navies to operate together in the maritime domain. So guys, now we are moving to the one-liner important point. We have to change the color to red so that you can see very clearly. First here is the General Electric Intel to partner with the SCRB, which stands for the Science and Engineering Research Board, for conducting basic research within the areas of the company's interest for the fundamental research. So you can remember General Electric and Intel separately signed an agreement with the Science and Engineering Research Board. It is for the fundamental research, like they will invest almost 20 crore rupees each for the research in the three broad areas, especially the clean energy, affordable healthcare, and third is the clean aviation. So it is not so much important, you can skip this. Next is the Reserve Bank of India. IDFC can exit as a promoter of the IDFC First Bank, because after the 5 year of lock-in time period, any merger can be demerger, any merger become the demerger, and any demerger can become the merger after the lock-in period of 5 years. So now IDFC can exit as a promoter of the IDFC First Bank. So you have to remember this, and the lock-in period is 5 years. Now application would be submitted to RBI for its approval. And remember about IDFC First here, and it was established in 2018 by the merging IDFC Bank and the former Capital First Bank. Managing Director and CEO is V. Vaidyanathan. Headquarters is in Mumbai. Next, Max Bupa Health Insurance rebranded as Niva Bupa. Again, they changed the name because the Max Bupa Health Insurance Company Limited, which was renamed as Niva Bupa Health Insurance Company Limited, was rebranded itself as Niva Bupa. Now the new name is Niva Bupa, and the brand transition of the company will be completed by December 2021. And one most important news you have to remember, especially for the banking students, Magma Financial Corporation or Magma FinCorp Limited renamed as Poonawalla Corporation. So remember Poonawalla FinCorp Limited, because Adar Poonawalla or the other Poonawalla was appointed as the chairman of the Magma FinCorp on the 31st of May 2021. So Adar Poonawalla is currently the chairman. So Magma Group now renamed as the Poonawalla Group. Next, Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Kishori ji released the book Kashmir ki Tiyari mein Aag ki Laptein Aakhir Kab Tak by Beena Mudki. So you have to just remember this name. It is written by Beena Mudki, and this is related to Kashmir, and it is named as Kashmir ki Kyari mein Aag ki Laptein Aakhir Kab Tak. If you translate in English, it will become how long will the flames of fire in Kashmir bed last. So this is released by Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Kishori ji, and the book refers to the turbulence in Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. Next is Indian Navy ship Tabar conducts maritime exercise with the French Navy on the Bay of Biscay. So this ship is basically traveling from Indian Ocean to the Russian Sea. It means you can see the Bering Sea. So while traveling, this ship will conduct exercise with various countries like Italy, like France, like Britain. So you have to just remember the name of this ship is INS Tabar. Next is National Broadcasting Day. Again, it is important. It was celebrated on 23rd of July, and the National Broadcasting Day is annually observed across India on 23rd of July to commemorate the first radio broadcast aired from the Indian Broadcasting Company on 23rd of July 1927. And International Broadcasting Company was a private radio station based in Mumbai, or you can say Bombay. 23rd of July 2021 marks the 94th anniversary of the establishment of All India Radio, which was formerly known as Indian Broadcasting Company. And remember about All India Radio, AIR, is owned by Prasar Bharati, India's largest public broadcasting agency, which comprises the Doordarshan television network and All India Radio. And Prasar Bharati is an autonomous body established under the Prasar Bharati Act in 1997, and its CEO is Shashi S. Vempati. So he was also recently appointed. Remember, Shashi S. Vempati. So he is currently the CEO of Prasar Bharati. Move to next question. It is the question of the day, that is 23rd of July 2021. Question was very simple. What do we call the process of paying off an existing loan if you pay off the existing loan and establishing a new loan? Very simple question. By the option you can answer this question very simply. Loan refinancing refers to the process of taking out a new loan to pay off one or more outstanding loans. So this is known as refinancing. So answer of this question is C. And borrowers usually refinance in order to receive lower interest rate or to otherwise reduce their repayment amount. So this is known as the refinancing. Next is the question of the day. What is the question? What does VPA stand for? Very simple question, very static question. You have to tell me why VPA is used and what is the meaning of this VPA. You have to answer me only in the comment box from the options. And guys, please like this video, please share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. By providing these three things, you are motivating us and you are providing support. And guys, please press this bell button and you can join our Telegram group for the further notifications, and it is a Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in general awareness section. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Always keep smiling, because happiness is the key of success. And don't take life so much serious. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.